What's going on, guys? Welcome back to 100% NUFC. So breaking news coming from the EFL. We have now lost one of our 92 football clubs in Bury FC. They, as of yesterday night, Tuesday 11 o'clock, have been expelled from the Football League, the first club to do so since 1992. And I have to say, as a Newcastle fan, I'm absolutely devastated for the club, for the fans, the community of Bury, and everybody else associated with that football club, the manager who left to go manage them over the summer, the players who didn't get paid, and all the staff and anybody else who I haven't mentioned who are connected to that football club. Bury are no longer in the EFL and they now have to ply their trade down in the 9th and 10th tiers of English football. They can apply for membership of the English Football League, but they can't do that until the season 2020-2021. And where does the blame lie? The blame lies with the current owner, I say current owner, Steve Dale, and the EFL. Now, Steve Dale bought Bury FC 9 months ago for a quid, and somehow he managed to keep them going. He managed to somehow get a manager in which got them promoted from League 2 to League 1 last season, and from there, celebrating promotion to League 1, you should have the funds to be able to fulfil your fixtures in League 1. I don't know how he's managed to put Bury into debt, into a situation where the fans have got no control. And this sort of arisen, I think it was around about the summertime, once they were promoted. I don't think I've seen a club get promoted to League above and not being able to fulfil their fixtures, because you normally get money when you get promoted, which can then financially help a club. I know it's not a lot down in the lower end of the leagues compared to the top end, but the point is, right, Steve Dale was looking to try to sell the club. Well, I say that. Was that true or false? Probably more false. He was looking to try and make more money than he paid for the football club, so he was looking at the likes of, what was it, over £1 million, even though he paid a quid for the football club 9 months ago. He was demanding more. Now, he should count himself lucky that he got Bury Football Club, for a quid, in that this man should never have gone anywhere near any Football League clubs. The EFL should have done more to stop this guy. This guy's got a history of running businesses really bad, and Bury FC should have heeded the warnings. The EFL should have done more, and they didn't. The EFL have got this thing called a fit and proper persons test. Well, I tell you what, that's now come into question, because how has Bury FC been allowed to fall like they have? And, you're seeing grown men, grown women cry that they've lost their football club. This is a small community club, and it means so much to them. You look at the Premier League clubs, there's so much money in it, the fans don't really have too much say, but when you're in League 1 and League 2, you're actually closer to the football club, and Bury fans will know that. The owners allow the fans to become closer to the football club. They're allowed to go in and do volunteering work, go along and, clean up the ground and to do things, that's going to help the club go forward. But, you can't say the same for clubs in the Premier League. Steve Dale, for me, he has ruined 135 years of Bury Football Club. This is a football club who, have had some great times in the top flight back in the day. They're FA Cup winners. They have now become the first FA Cup winning club to exit the Football League since 1992. The likes of Maidstone United. And, look at what the EFL has done since sort of reforming. Bury FC have gone. Bolton FC are only, 2 weeks away from going bust themselves. This is a club who were, of the Premier League. And look at the likes of Blackpool, very close to going out. Portsmouth, very close to going out. You've got the likes of Coventry City, who can't play in their own ground because they can't afford it. They're in Birmingham City. The likes of Notts County, who, fair enough, they got relegated from the EFL. They had no money. So, the EFL have got a lot to answer for. For the fact that they've come out with the things like, you've got to try and find an owner, you've got to do this, you've got to do that. What can Bury fans do, right, if they're powerless? If this owner, Steve Dale, is not going to sell the club? He said on numerous occasions that he was going to sell the football club. That was absolutely bullshit. Now he come out on 5 Live, TalkSport, Sky Sports, BT Sport and all of that and said, when I bought Bury, I didn't know anything about them. So why the fuck did you buy Bury Football Club, right, and put them in the turmoil if you had no idea what you were walking into? Because when you buy a League 1 and League 2 club, it's a risk. You should know that in order to keep a League 1, League 2 club alive and going, that you've got to spend within your needs, and you've obviously overspent thinking that You can get away with it, and you didn't. And ultimately, there's fans of Bury who aren't going to see the football club ever again. Gig Lane, I don't know what happens to the ground. That's gone. 135 years of history down the drain, all down to, just say one man, two individuals, Steve Dale and the EFL. And it comes to question that the EFL, they've got to have a massive rethink after that. Yeah, they can come out with their statuses like, oh, I'm sorry that Bury have gone, or we did give them deadlines and stuff like that. But the point is, you should have done more to support your clubs like Bury, because Bury won't be the first and won't be the last to exit the Football League in the near future, because, as I've said before, it's all about the top six, and any other clubs from there, the EFL and the Premier League don't care about. Like, yes, okay, you have got Premier League clubs outside the top six, that can fund themselves. But the thing is, if they were to exit the Premier League, where's the future for those clubs? Where's the future? Because I'm sure if the likes of a Tottenham or a Liverpool or a Chelsea or a Man United or a Man City, whatever, were to struggle and to exit the top six, the Premier League will get a panic attack. They'd fanny around and they'd find ways to try and get them back in the top six again. Don't get us wrong, I love Newcastle. I hate Mike Ashley, but I'm very, very lucky and fortunate that I've got a club to support. Yes, we're in the Premier League. We'll get a good crowd, good attendances out each week. But the point is, you've got clubs like Bury where, they're a community club and they come together. They're a small club, but they make things count. And for them not to have a Football League club to support, it's sad. It really is heartbreaking. And I wouldn't wish it on any club to go bust. I could say that for the likes of Sunderland down the road. As much as we'll have this rivalry, I wouldn't want to see them go bust either, because at the end of the day, I know how much it means, for the North East, for this city, their city, and just for every city in general, up and down, the UK, to have a football club to support. And sometimes, it is the be all end all, and it brings everybody together. Football is a family, and if you're a football fan watching this, everybody should come together and have a little bit of sympathy for, Bury, and say that more needs to be done to try and stamp out greed in football. And I know it's only going to get worse as time goes on. But as I've said before, the EFL should have at least funded them. And people will say, well, why should the EFL fund them when, Bury done it to themselves? But the thing is, right, they're making absolutely billions on TV rights, and there should be, at least funding Bury until an owner comes in. They should have given them extended time. The potential owners, I know they had a deadline, was it a Friday, to try and get themselves sorted out. Otherwise, face being, expelled from the Football League. An owner did come in, or some potential investors, on the Friday night, so they actually extended their stay of execution in the Football League. They gave them till Tuesday to see if they can iron out, a couple of key areas, to try and see if they've got the funds to, go forward with trying to get Bury City, back up and running again. But obviously that deal fell through yesterday as of 20 to 4, an hour and 20 minutes before the EFL deadline of 5 a.m. or p.m. GMT, and to see the club suffer with, with what was it, an hour and 20 minutes to go, it's heartbreaking, knowing that you're 1 hour and 20 minutes away from being expelled from the Football League. An hour and 20 minutes of no longer having a football club to support. And I really do feel for those Bury fans, because there was so much on the table. There was fans yesterday, going into Gig Lane, cleaning the ground out, making sure that for the potential new owners, it's ready for the game against Doncaster. There was actually a glimmer of hope that they actually had a club to support, and that, yes, okay, 5 or 6 fixtures have passed, but they could have been played in time. And the EFL, for me, didn't do enough. It was just all about them, and that's what always has been with the EFL, all about them. And I'm glad that Newcastle, right, got out of the Championship, because the standard of the EFL is shit. It really, really is. The standard of refereeing's poor. The standard of everything to do with the EFL is poor. And I don't care what they say. I don't even care if the messages personally, but honestly, the people that work for the EFL are just corrupt, and they know nothing about football. They might do, but they know very, very little, because if they did, they would have had a little bit of sympathy there for Bury, and they would have actually bought them out. In terms of Steve Dale, he should be ashamed at what he's done to this football club, and how, 135 years of history is gone. A club that, have won things in the past, and, the Gig Lane, is not a small ground. It's a half-decent ground. It's probably up there with Bournemouth. What they're going to do with that ground now, is it going to get knocked down? I don't know. Are they going to be able to afford it down in the 9th, 10th tier? Not really, unless they get some, significant investment. And like, as I've said before, it's a massive wake-up call, right, to all owners of football clubs, to make sure that, if you are owning these football clubs, that you're doing it right, and that you on a sound financial footing, because Bury have been massively found out, and Bolton are on the same route. Portsmouth were on the same route, and as I've said before, as much as I hate Mike Ashley, as much as I despise the guy, I'm just lucky that we are getting a little bit of money put into the football club. Not too much. He's still running the club dry, but we're still buying players. But you can't say the same for the likes of Bury, who have gone. They've expelled from the EFL. And for them, no longer being allowed to play their League One fixtures for the season is heartbreaking. After a promotion as well, a promotion for a League One, League Two club, it means so much to them because it's an adventure, it's a journey, and unfortunately, Bury can't fulfil their adventures in League One, not even League Two. And talking of Steve Dale, the owner, right? Why did he just keep away from Bury? And if Bury, right, had been bought by a different owner, who knows? They might not have been promoted, but I'm sure the fans of Bury would have appreciated, right, that they were in League Two and they were still a football club in the Football League, fulfilling their fixtures and for the community. I was watching things on the news of supporters of Bury, with coffins, and a woman tied an arm to the lamppost of Gig Lane to try and protest about that football club closing down. And for me, that should have been the wake-up call to investors to go and buy that football club, clear the debts, and I'm sure long-term you would have been financially fine. You would have actually made that money back. But for Bury fans to have had so much false hope over the summer is absolutely devastating. And I know how it feels like to have false hope. We have this with our owners, but the thing is, I can't really say too much because obviously we're in the Premier League and Bury are obviously League One, League Two. It's obviously more difficult financially down there. But the point is, right, they were a great club, with great fans, and for them not to have a football club to support, I don't know where I'd be. If I was in their situation, if Newcastle closed down today, I'd be absolutely sad, heartbroken. I'd be angry, because for me, you look at Newcastle, right? And anybody that watches Newcastle, or anyone that supports Newcastle, or anyone that lives in Newcastle or visits Newcastle, know that this is a football city and that the football club is the be all end all. It's it's the heartbeat of the city. And without Newcastle United, the city's nothing. Personally, it's not. And football is and will be the big thing in this city. And if Newcastle wasn't a thing, I don't think you'd see many fans going elsewhere. Yes, they might support Gateshead, but it wouldn't be the same. And talking of Gateshead, they were close as well to going out of business. This was a club who were in the National League last season. They're now in the National League North. They got relegated due to financial worries, but they were literally hours away from going bust. A local non-league club just across the river, from St James's Park. But Bury, a League One club now, no longer in the Football League. It's just sad for football. And you're seeing, a reporter on Sky Sports having to break that out to those Bury fans who, were swearing and things like that. I don't blame them, because you've got to feel sorry for those fans. You've got to feel sorry for the reporter and just everybody who's connected to that football club. I know I've gone on a little bit, but the point is, right, the EFL need to try and thrash out a better TV deal for these so-called, smaller clubs, because, you look at the FA Cup. How often do you see a smaller club, get a broadcast deal from Sky Sports or BT, unless it's against a Manchester United or a big club like that? Why can't they just have, a West Brom from the Championship versus a Forest Green? Because you know what? They don't need the audience, they just need the money, because that money from the Premier League and the EFL will go such a long way to keeping a club like Bury alive. If Bury had that, who knows? Yes, it's all ifs and buts now. There's nothing you can do about it. They've been expelled from the Football League. But the point is, right, this should serve a massive warning to all owners that if you don't have, the right attitude going into a football club, don't buy it. Because you look at Steve Dale now, this is going to live with him for the rest of his life. That he's bought a football club of 35 years of history, and it's gone down the drain like that. If there's any Bury fans watching this right now, I really do sympathise with you lot. And I'm absolutely speechless, and I'm just sad for you. I'm angry. I thought there was some hope there for you, and I really did hope that you could get your situation sorted out. And I really hope that that this takeover, which was supposed to have happened yesterday, could have went through. I can't blame them personally. They gave you a little bit of hope, but the point is the blame lies down with Steve Dale and the EFL. So let us know what you thought about the video. If you are new, please go along and subscribe. I'm trying to get to 2,200 subscribers. And hit the like button as well. Put your comments in down below. I'd be massively appreciated to know how you feel. And it's a dark day for the EFL and English football. going forward.